Hello everyone, so Jake Paul has just been announced to fight Anthony Joshua in December, I think from December the 19th in Miami, Florida. Just my thoughts on the fight. Before I give you them, just the stipulations for the fight. I've got an article up here. So it's 8 3-minute rounds. Joshua has a weight limit set for Jake Paul. He will not be able to weigh more than 245 pounds. It's probably for the best, considering Jake Paul is a natural cruiserweight at 200 pounds. Interestingly, in fights, Joshua sometimes weighs between 240 and 255 pounds. The pair will compete over 8 3-minute rounds in the usual 10-ounce glove. So it's just a weight cut for AJ and 8 3-minute rounds. I mean, AJ is a two-time unified world champion, and Jake Paul is probably 7 area title at best. So a huge golfing class between the two. So there were probably needs to be stipulations like weight clauses in there, just to, I guess, keep things a little fair. I mean, they're not fair at all. But Jake Paul has put himself in this position. I mean, a post on IFL TV, he was in Disney, I think 9 years ago, and he's managed to now work his way up to, or market himself in a way that has drawn the attention of Anthony Joshua. So, I mean, yeah, fair play to him. I think the Daily Mail reported a total purse bid of £140 million that will be split evenly between the two. So AJ will make £70 million, and Jake Paul will make £70 million as well. I believe Jake Paul made £40 million for his fight against Daniel Dubois. I believe Jake Paul made £40 million for his fight against Mike Tyson, and AJ. Let's have a look at how much AJ made against Daniel Dubois. That was, of course, at Wembley Stadium. So AJ apparently made a guaranteed purse of £6 million, but he would have made around £25 million depending on pay-per-view sales. AJ, being the A side, made 60-40 split with Daniel Dubois in terms of pay-per-view buys. So, I mean, this will be by far the biggest paycheck of either careers. I think I'm safe in saying that. And the fight is nearly upon us. I mean, 4 weeks. Of course, Gervonta Davis was meant to fight, but he's run into some problems with women. So, what are my thoughts on it? I mean, I don't think you can be surprised with anything nowadays. I think it's important to say that. But this did surprise me that it did materialise in this manner. Especially considering Eddie Hearn said that he wanted AJ to get out there, put on the gloves, and not be in the limelight as such, and just get his hands moving, get his hands wrapped, getting used to, getting in the groove of what it takes to become a professional fighter, to train, to get in the ring, to be in a crowd. But he was almost talking as though he wanted AJ to fight in the undercard of something, and almost be like a lower status before fighting next year. I think Turkey on the weekend said that there'll be a fight in Riyadh in February for AJ, a big fight, and then hopefully a potential showdown in Tyson Fury. But I mean, I guess from a financial perspective, it's a fight that AJ had no choice in taking. I mean, £70 million to knock for. I mean, I'd be surprised if it goes to round 2. So £70 million for 3 minutes work, and I'd be surprised if it lasts 3 minutes. So I guess it was financially a reward that AJ couldn't turn down. But in terms of how it helps his preparations for preparing against Tyson Fury, I mean, does it? I guess if AJ were to fight someone, I guess he wasn't going to fight anyone, within the top 10. I guess he was going to, if he were to fight in 2025, it would have been against the top 100 heavyweight. So I just think it doesn't help his preparation for fighting Tyson Fury from a purely fighting perspective. But I guess belts doesn't put food on the table, right? I guess he's not struggling to put food on the table, but I guess yeah, that doesn't come into it. I guess it depends on what his motivations are. He's made a lot of money throughout his career, so I'm sure he's not struggling for a pound or two. But I guess this was just something he couldn't turn down. And for Jake Paul, I mean, where does it leave him when he loses? Because there is no way on God's green earth that he wins. But where does it leave him? I think he would still want to fight. I mean, for him, I guess he just hopes that he doesn't get hit that hard so that he can continue fighting and making money. Because if he gets hit with, we've seen Jake Paul we've seen Anthony Joshua really cause some damage on the likes of Francis Ngannou, a man who is a physical specimen, who's a lot bigger than Jake Paul, could not handle AJ's power. So let's just hope for Jake Paul's sake that he doesn't get hit that hard. I'm sure he will get hit that hard, but let's just hope he doesn't, so that, you know, he doesn't have any long-lasting damage, because this is very dangerous for Jake, I think. Very dangerous. But I guess money talks, and money is certainly talking in this situation. £70 million each. Another thing, on the fight poster, I think it said, let's just get it up, AJ v Jake Paul. On the fight poster, I believe, images. Okay, here we go. Okay, yeah, so on the fight poster it says live only on Netflix. AJ is of course exclusive to DAZN, as is Matchroom. So I guess the conclusions that you can take from that is DAZN maybe might have been paid a hefty sum from Netflix to allow AJ to fight on Netflix. Because whether you like it or not, a lot of people will tune in to watch it. I'll be tuning in to watch it. So I mean, Netflix will stand to make a lot of money from this. So I can only guess that DAZN are being paid to allow AJ to fight on Netflix. Jake Paul has, of course, fought on Netflix before. He fought Mike Tyson on Netflix. He's hosted cards on Netflix. Katie Taylor, Amanda Serrano. In terms of, like, Jake Paul I think Jake Paul's done some good in boxing. He's done a lot for women's boxing. He, again, as mentioned, Amanda Serrano, Katie Taylor on Netflix at the, I think it was at the Madison Square Gardens. It was somewhere in New York. So he's done some very good things. I just don't think this. I just don't like. He must just want to get hit very hard, but also he'll get paid a lot for it. So I guess I could see it from both sides. It's just final thoughts. It's just I think it doesn't, because AJ hasn't been in the ring for 14 months, it doesn't do much for him to get back on track to fight the likes of Tyson Fury, because obviously Fury's levels above Jake Paul. But anyway, that aside, another thing I wanted to talk about was terrestrial TV. Wasserman are, of course, hosting an event on Friday night. I will hopefully be going to Brighton, at the Brighton Centre on Friday night, between Harlem Eubank and Josh Wagner. And I think Ade Oladipo said it. He said it, that, you know, British boxing is thriving at the minute, and I think I agree with him. There was, of course, people saying, you know, boxing was being lost to Saudi. There's been a shift in the geographical financial landscape. More and more big events are going to Saudi Arabia, meaning more and more fighters are wanting to fight over there, which many believe took away from the domestic scene. But I mean, in recent times, we've seen Dave Ireland against Arsenal Mahmoudov in front of 10,000 people at Sheffield Arena. We've just witnessed Eubank against Ben for the second time in front of a sold-out Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. And we'll see Ben Whittaker again taking on Benjamin Gavazzi. And then now we've also got Boxer with the BBC, and Wasserman with Channel 5. So I guess boxing in this country is still live and kicking. It's just maybe a different proposition than it was before. You know, it's like, you know, we can have like the big domestic fights in the UK, but then it seems like a take Benavidez and Anthony Yard, that level of fight will be held in Riyadh, maybe. But yeah, I do think there's nothing. I do think British boxing is thriving, so it seems. But just a little bit on terrestrial TV, that's what I was supposed to talk about. Channel 5 boxing, BBC Boxer. I do think it's good because it just gets more eyeballs on the sport. It allows people who might not have the likes of DAZN to be able to tune in, and also it brings boxing back out to the casual viewers on a Saturday or on a Friday night in Wasserman and Channel 5's instance. You know, to be able to just sit down on a Friday night, put Channel 5 on and watch boxing, something wholesome about that, and I think it will draw a lot of eyeballs to the sport. As with Boxer and BBC, so I think it's a good thing. Ben Shalom as well did allude to the fact that there have been misreporting that BBC will host more than 4 live boxer show events in the calendar year. He was sort of talking in the region of 8, which is good. The more boxing on terrestrial TV, the better, because there's more access. So there's that. And he did announce as well that there will be they'll announce a paid TV broadcaster. So I guess maybe a DAZN, or I don't know, maybe a Netflix. That might be a bit far-fetched, but I wouldn't rule out the Boxer also being available on DAZN, so that the bigger fights can happen. The likes of Adam Azim can still fight on big cards, and it doesn't just have to be on BBC. So the final thing I wanted to talk about was the Eubank versus Ben, just sort of in the aftermath of everything. It's 2 days removed from the event. It was a great spectacle, I think. I just don't think the fight delivered to what the first time round, but maybe as the British public we expected the wrong thing. We expected maybe too much, because Eubank, there's only so many times you can make the weight, and maybe you just made the weight one too many times, and I think that showed on Saturday night. But take nothing away from Conor Ben. I thought Conor Ben fought a very good fight, and he's come up leaps and bounds from that first fight. So in terms of what's next for both of them, obviously Chris Eubank said he's expecting to win, so I guess he'll take a lot of time out, reconsider his options. I think retirement is probably on the cards for him, but with him being quite a proud man, led by his ego at times, I do think he'd want to come out and end his career on a bit more of a high. But I mean, there's not many people that can say that they've sold out Tottenham's Hotspur Stadium twice. So I mean, he has done all right for himself. And in terms for Conor Ben, I know he wants to go down to 147, but it's going to take a bit of time for him to get back down, because at 160 he looks like an absolute unit, and there's not a lot of fat on him at all, so he's going to have to lose a bit of size to get down to 147, so that might be a bit of an issue. That might take him a bit longer than expected. But he has been, I know Lewis Crocker's been a bit aggravated about his name not being mentioned, so maybe a big domestic showdown there might be in the cards, or he wants to fight Mario Barrios for a world title. So there's a lot of Conor Ben's in a very good position. So yeah, I'll end on this. Actually, I really liked what Conor Ben said at the end. He said, "Not too bad for 2 silver spoon kids." I think it just goes to show that, you know, even though they've been given a lot in life, they've been brought up in plush surroundings, they've still got that hunger, and that they've still had that hunger and that desire to train harder than a lot of people. And I think they've both done their fathers proud there. So yeah, we'll end on that.